So welcome to Bunny's Designs. I'm working in Magical Dawn, and I've decided that these books are going to be do the first page, even though I don't particularly want to do the second page. I'm going to make myself colour them in order because I'm missing pages and I'm skipping books, and it's my new kind of regime that I can work in any book I want to, but I have to start at the beginning. So I thought I'd practice this with my Derwent Inktense pencils, and I've scratched them in my little book of colours, and even though I'm using them from the Derwent art bag, and when I'm using them on a stream I take them out. When I'm using them normally they stay in the Derwent art bag, but I find them a lot easier to flip when they're on my desk. So that's the rattling you can hear. But I also always look at the colours here because it tells me the 10 shades I can get from each pencil. So this pencil has been missing for quite a while, and when I've gone through the pencils to give away to my girls, because I can't use pencils anymore, my hands are really bad, I decided to go through the pencils, and believe me, I still kept quite a few. But there's a few trays of pencils disappeared, so I found, of course, the missing iris blue. So I'd left the square because I knew it was somewhere, and I left the square, so I'll show you how I put it in here. Now I do use a ruler, and although my hands are bad I couldn't do the whole lot today, but I can do one. So how you do it is you make your squares, and then it's just one thin coat one way. Now it's easy to do it before you put it in the book, obviously, so you've got a flat piece of paper, and I used to make different squares, but because this paper is really good, my prototype I thought it would drop to bits, but it seems to have lasted about 3 or 4 years. So I've made bigger squares, so this should last me about 5 years, if not more. And all you do is scratch about 3 layers, and you just keep going until you can't see any white. And now my hands, as I say, are quite bad at the moment, so I can only do the first bit. So I'll just show you this here. So when you go again now, there's no difference, and you start to get little bits. So that's 2 coats, and that's 3. So 3 coats is normally enough to completely fill as much colour as you can get on this page. So it should all look like this, but as I say, my hands probably won't do. If I do this I won't be able to do anything else, because when I made these pages I couldn't use my hands for nearly a week. So that's what you need to do, just 3 layers. Now you don't have to do these big squares, you can do smaller squares. My original one, I did this size. So that's how to put them in. Now you can put all sorts of other things in as well. So I also have my Neocolor 2s, and this is a live stream recorded for Ustream.tv and also for YouTube for people to watch at their leisure. And the advantage of live streams is you can ask questions about things and get immediate answers. And so Sue's just asked about the Neos. Now I would not have bought the Neos if I'd have, and I keep those in my art bars. I've got 3 Derwent art bags. Sorry, I've got 3 Derwent bags. I've got one for my Neos, and this is the one I have for my graphy tint, and I'm going to take these out because I'm going to use them in a minute. And then on the other side I have my Derwent watercolours. Now these are very old. I've had them a long time. These are the first ones I bought. Long time. 1980s they came out, end of 1980s, 1990s. I've had these a long time, and they are splitting a little bit. There's one there, but nothing to write home about. The pencil is still absolutely fine. The strip is still wonderful. And I sharpen mine with a blade, and I never need a sharp point because I've always got an edge, so I can always get a fine edge. So I never need, you don't need to waste. All this is pure colour. So I'm going to take the graphy tints out. I can't find my Neos. Oops, I had them in my hands. My hands do not work, so apologies for things being dropped all the time. So I've just had my Neos out, and I love them like this. I've just started a new system to scratch colour and leave to scratch a bit of colour in your books ready, and then just take the book with you and a water brush and no Neos. But I did put these in my little book as well, and I had about 40, I think, 36 or 40, and I wouldn't have bought them all, but I sometimes get a bit obsessed about having them, and I'm a bit of a Derwent fanatic, so I did like the old-fashioned Neos, which were the big fat bars, but you can't get those anymore. And I went to a shop in London, and I found an original set of 60. And I bought them straight away. Now I love these colours I have, but one thing I found is when you're doing this colour swatch here, so for every crayon, like the pencils, I get 10 shades out. And if you look at some of these, you will find it's a crayon further down. They're just a paler version. So if you were to mix this colour with white, so you would have this colour, and then you would have half white and half green, or you'd have a darker green with that green. You only need about 2 or 3 greens, and you've got 6 greens. Now mainly I mix my own greens anyway with the yellows, but I would think a set, I think I had an original set of 15, and I think my daughter's taken them. You got 15 Neos, and in that set I always thought that was the perfect set. To see if I can find them. I did think I gave them all away. Bear with me. There's a set of 10 now you can get, but just let me have a look. And I always thought that was the best set, and you could make any colour from that. Just let me see if I can find. As I say, I've been giving a lot of my art things away because I can't use them anymore. I've got a funny feeling that it's the box I'm looking for, but I can't find the box. Whoopsie! This is the box that I only saw pictures of until recently, and it has 60 Neo colours in them. And I would say I would not have bought the others. I wouldn't have bought these if I'd have found this the week before. The week before. So I'll show you the colours in here very quickly, because it gets very expensive if you want a few of everything, or you want to use different products, which is why I wanted Derwent to bring out this little book, because if they brought this little book out, you could try the Inktense pencils, and if you like them you could buy the set, or if you like certain colours you could buy the set. The same with the Inktense, you could do the same. You could buy this little booklet with all their colours in, and if you like them you could buy the set. I think this is the perfect set, and it has 60 colours. Now, there was a set with 15, and I've only ever had the 15, this set here. And I always thought that was the perfect set. So, oh, hi, Bookworm. Yes, I can see you, darling. Yes. Sorry, the book owl. I do apologise. I haven't got my glasses on. Just bear with me. Let me see if I can. I've forgotten who asked. Sorry. Oh, welcome back, little owl, book owl. Welcome back. Apologies for my bad reading. I've had 6 sleeves in, and it was just stuffed to the limit. But I usually have my Inktense pencils. I've got 5 sleeves. Have we got 4 sleeves in? 1, 2. I think I've got 5 in. I've got 2 Inktense. I think 5's a good one. 5's a good number. You get 3, and I bought a set of 2 extra ones, I think. So you get 70. I've got 72 Inktense pencils, 72 Derwent watercolor pencils, and 24 on the other end. On the other side, I have the Graphitint, and that makes the odd size. The odd side. You get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. You can get 22. Now, the only difference is this one with 2 eyelets is from the Derwent art bag that you buy with the bag. When you buy the extra sleeves, you've got a hole here. For some reason, they've put another eyelet here. And you can only get 1 pencil in, but there is a little tiny one here that you can get another one in. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, but you can just about do it. But for this one, you can get 2 pencils here, but in the other one you can't. The one that's got 3 in it. These are all 2s. They're all 2s. But the one that's got 3 in it is a bit of a pest, because they put the eyelet right in the middle of that one. So I hope that answers that question. But going back to Sue, who says how many colours, I've bought one of these, and when I bought them they were £10. So that's how long ago I bought them, because that 15 set is £50 now. Sorry, that set is, the 10 set is £50, and I've never seen the 10 set until I went to London to this shop in the outskirts of London in a suburb, and they had that set, that set, that set, and that set, and I'd never seen them. And they also had the Neos with 126 in a big tin. And I'd never seen them like that before. And I saw these and got really excited with the 30 and picked it up and started hugging it because I'm a sad girl. And then under the shelf there was a dusty box, and I said to the lady, "Oh, what's in there?" And she pulled out the box of 60, which I didn't even know existed till a few weeks ago. But I would say that I had that box of 15 for, I would say, nearly 20 years. And that's the best one. You need a couple of yellows, a couple of reds, a couple of blues, a couple of greens, and I must admit purple's a pain in the bum to make, so a couple of purples, and that 15 set I thought was quite good. It has a pink and a purple. The 15 set has the black and the white, which I don't use for when I'm colouring, but I use it for drawing. I use to draw with a paintbrush, and it's fantastic. And I'll show you a drawing my daughter did in that. That's brilliant. So I know we're going on a bit of a rabbit trail, but we do that anyway with a live stream. So there's black and there's white. There's ochre. There's a rouge. There's a sienna. Prussian blue. There's like a malachite blue. There's grass green. There's citron lemon. There's purple. And there's a golden yellow. And there's a cadmium red. A violet cobalt. And a blue. No, I think it's like a French ultramarine. Yeah, it's like an ultramarine blue. And then there's what they call permanent blue, which is a colder blue. And I had no problems with that set. Really, really liked it. And as I said, I've always wanted the full set of everything. Now, the reason I got these is because they don't make them anymore. I never even opened the box when I bought them. I just spent £199.99. Whoopsie. Oh, there it is. Arts and Crafts, Berkhamsted. Now, if you look up the Arts and Crafts in Berkhamsted, they have a website, but they do not have, they don't sell for normally. But because I said that my ladies might be so excited to see these and want them, and they had about 3 or 4, they had the 30, they had the 60, and they had 1 or 2 of the 10s, and I think they had the 15, but they did have the full set of the Neos, and that was 300 and something. But they said they would post them out. Now obviously if you're abroad it's going to be more expensive, but they don't make these anymore. And if I put one of these next to an ordinary Neo, you'll realise why I was so excited to find them. There's a lot more colour, and now the white is a colour. It's just a colour over the top. They melt like any other Neos. But this is what they originally were before they became Neocolor 2s. And the pigments are very, very similar. There's a little tiny, tiny difference, but that's all. Have I disappeared? My thingy disappears all the time. It says I'm still recording, so I'm going to carry on. So apologies. Ustream's been a bit naughty today. It's kicking me off. Now this 61 has the unusual colours, it has some very pale colours, it has gorgeous colours, and all these, you'll see there's one or two that I have, where's the silver? So if you see this little bit here, oh hi Sandy, welcome to Bunny's Designs, I'm still here. You see there's that little bit of an edge missing, and that's the amount I used to put it in my little book. So they go a long, long way. So that's the silver one. And again, the reason these are at the back is these were Neos, and these colours here were in this set and weren't available in the Neos. And I had an extra square, so I put gold on it and silver on the same one. So I've kind of got either a dull gold or a shiny warm silver. Hi Camille, welcome to Bunny's Designs. Anybody else popping in? Welcome to Bunny's Designs. I'm having a waffle about my favourite things. The reason I can't do a lot of videos with these is they don't make them anymore, and as soon as I do anything, people ask me where I get them. And so all I can say is you can match these 60 colours almost identical with because I have. The only ones I've got different is I've got the silver and the gold. Yes, this is Sahara yellow. I bought Sahara yellow. So every colour I have here, I have in my little book. And of course there's more. But I don't think they make the silver and the gold, because I think there's something about the pigments. And there's one brown here that I haven't got either, the burnt umber. And there's another brown that they've changed the name. They called it Dunkel Beige. In here they called it Cocoa. But I haven't used this one, so it means it is available in the Neos. This one is flesh coloured. Oh, so I have got flesh. I just don't have it in my Neos. So I might actually start using these, I think. But I bought them because I can hold these. And you can get them to have a little well in them. Now this one, ice blue, maybe it doesn't exist, but you can match them up. But I would say you don't need the full set. And that's only because by doing a colour swatch, you can match the colours up a bit further down the line. So I think it was the pale greens. I was obsessing about having every Neo pale colour. All these pale colours here. And while I was doing this, I realised that, you know, that one. So the 7, I haven't named it, but it's 7273 is there. So if you used one quite sparingly, you would get the same colour. The same with one of the jades. These two are very similar, so you would only need one. But I must admit, I have to say, if I had the perfect set, this would be it. And it means you don't have to mix any colours. Now you know me in colour mixing, I like 2 reds, 2 blues and 2 yellows. Now I will throw in there a purple, because purples are a bit of a pest to make, and the French ultramarine. But apart from that, you can mix any colour. And I have done a colour wheel with these, where I have scratched the blues and the yellows together, and I've made the greens. So you can do that. But if you want a couple of greens, a couple of blues, a couple of pinks, a couple of purples, a couple of cold reds, a couple of warm reds, a couple of oranges, light yellows and cold yellows, a couple of browns, a couple of olive colours, a couple of greys and pale browns. You want warm browns and cold browns. And then of course we've got these really pale colours, but these will come from mixing a purple. This purple will be a pale version of that. And again, you can see that on here. So if we look at the dark purples, I'm sure we'll see the light pinks and the light purples. So even though it's dark, you can get these light colours, and you can get pastel shades, and then you can add white to them and they become more like a gouache because they've got white in, and they're even paler colours. So you can always do things with colours. Even if you've only got 2 of each, you can then mix every single one with every single other one, and you can do twice as much as one and half of the other, and you've suddenly got a couple of 100 colours, and you might only have half a dozen crayons. So there's a lot of different ways to mix colours. I made the cadmium yellow because I didn't have one in one set. I took a cold yellow and I took a pink, and I mixed them together and I made an orange, and then I added the orange to the pink to make a cadmium red, and I mixed the orange and the cold yellow to make a cadmium yellow. So I ended up with all 6 colours that I wanted from 2. Especially if they're good quality and they are well pigmented. This is why it's a good idea to have them. Now these show you melting them. You can melt them, you can wax them, you can scratch them, but I use them quite preciously. You can do all sorts with these, and I'm sure it says you can melt them as well. But they are very, very vibrant, but they don't make these anymore. Now with a bit of pressure, we might be able to ask them to make these in water-soluble wax pastels, because they have the moulds this size. Because if you ever see these now with neo art on them, they are oil pastels, because Caran d'Ache have brought out oil pastels exactly this size, so they have the moulds to make these, and I think that would be wonderful. Yes, yes, Sandy. These are water soluble. These are the originals. Before the Neo Colour 2s, they were called Neo Art water soluble wax pastels. And I love them. I've only ever had, say, the set of 15, and I paid £10 for a set of 15. So you can imagine how long ago that was. And I've just given them to my daughter. But this set of 15 is perfect. There isn't anything you can't do with that set of 15. But if you were going with, don't want to mix colours, got poorly hands, can't really want to go into mixing colours and want them just used normal, then go for 60. And that gives you so many greys. You've got black, 4 cold browns, you've got 3 warm browns, you've got 2 pale purples and pale pinks and a purple, flesh coloured. This is a peachy colour called salmon, and again I use these 2 colours. There's yellow ochre and then there's a raw sienna, so you've got some really nice flesh tones there. There's a gold and a silver in this one, and there's about 3 olive colours, 5 olives. There's the teal colours and the turquoise colours that we quite like. There's the white. As I say, there's 5 greys, there's 2 light blues, there's 4 medium colour blues, and there's 2 purple blues and a very dark blue, which is wonderful for the clouds. Prussian blue. It isn't Prussian blue. Have I not got that one in that set? They call it night blue. Some of the names have changed, but then we've got the tealy greens, fake greens as I call them, a couple of dark greens, a couple of pale greens, and they call this one, oh, it's lemon yellow, sorry, lemon yellow. So you've got a cream, you've got 2 pale yellows, 2 warm colours, you've got some oranges, and then you've got some cold reds for making your bricks, and you've got your pinky purples and your pinks and then you've got your purples. So it's a really, really good set, is this. But you don't need all those. You can make some really nice colours. You know, if you have 3 of these blues and you add white, you will get the other colours. You could add a little bit of blue to white and pink, and you'd get the purples. So there's always a way to make the colours. And colour mixing is a lot of fun if you don't have bad hands. It's when you've got poorly hands that it becomes a bit difficult. But I could not believe I bought this set because it was so much money. But I'd never seen it before, and it was just kind of have to have it. But they are very few and far between now. Probably eBay, probably a very old dusty art shop. That's where you're going to find a set. And that wasn't a derogatory term for the art shop where I found them. It was just they had every craft thing that was ever made in this particular shop. And again, they had every size that the Caran d'Ache came in. Whoopsie. And of course, I'm very precious with that. So I find it really difficult to use this because they are not available anymore. Having said that, I might make a few videos of what I've got here you can remake with the Neos because they're just a different name. And they're very slightly different pigments, but not much. They're still as good as they were. It's just they're in thin sticks, whereas when you're working with those fat sticks, they're not going to snap. And I've completely forgotten what I was working in. I think I was working in ink tens. So I say I hope Derwent will bring out something like this, where you could either clip them into a book and have as many or as few as you want, and you could try the products. But they could definitely come out with 1,000 colours. And then they can mix other colours together if they wanted to. So back to the ink tents, and we were looking at dark purple, which was there. So dark purple was at the top and deep violet was at the bottom. So I think that one there is very near what we want. And I've lost the book. There it is. So what I thought I'd do, this is slightly different this time. I'm going to scratch colour in, but I'm not going to wet it straight away. I'm going to manipulate the colour and scratch the colour in, and then I'm going to leave it. And so that means that you could scratch all the colour in and leave the pencils at home. And then go sit by the beach or go sit by the pool with a little water brush and then colour it in. And I think it's kind of a really neat way to do something. So I'll zoom in. I'm just going to have a mouthful of coffee. I tell a lie, it's cold tea. Oopsie, I didn't put that back in my little box. So I just remembered that was my other birthday present. Oops. Oopsie. I think I've had the next 100 birthday presents. So all I'm going to do is just scratch a little bit of colour. Now that might come off. So in between each piece of paper, each page, I'm going to put a piece of photocopied paper or tracing paper, whichever I pull out of the cupboard at the time. And that will mean that on the other side, if it was a nice picture, if we were doing this one, it wouldn't contaminate the other one. And you could do the whole book Now that's a little bit bigger than A4, but printer paper's perfect. And you could just do the whole book and just scratch your colour in, and then you've got a whole book ready to colour. Oh, you're welcome, Sue. You're welcome. Thank you for stopping by at Bunny's Designs. Anybody else popping in I've missed? Got lots of useless, mindless information up there somewhere. Right, so, yes, I've just reminded myself I've already had my birthday present. Oopsie. So, I'll zoom in and we'll start. Oh, I wonder if I should start again and have just a waffle about near colour 2s. I might do that. I might start because it's been 35 minutes. So thanks for watching.